Dear friends, today we celebrate Spy Wednesday because today is the day that Judas Iscariot sold his master with just 30 silver coins, very little money. He sold God. We get inspiration from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, verses 14 to 26. Imagine he's selling Jesus, who went around doing good, who has been teaching Judas how to love and how to live well with God. And now Judas, after even receiving the beautiful celebration on the Last Supper, we see that in that context of Jesus even accompanying his disciples in all moments, Judas goes to the local authorities and he goes also to the chief priests and asks them, what will you give me if I hand over Jesus to you? Hand over the good person to you. Imagine. Hand over the innocent Jesus. Hand over something that does not belong to Judas. Hand over Jesus as if Jesus is a property. This is how Judas, who was loved, paid back Jesus, who had done nothing wrong, by kind of conspiracy. It could happen also in our lives that there are many good people around us who are going around doing good. And how often do we hand over them to be challenged, to be discouraged? How do we discourage the people, good people who are doing around doing good? How do we discourage them? Maybe with our words, with our actions. And as Judas, how do we even sell the good people? We talk bad about the good people. We do bad things about good people. Don't be Judas of today. By handing over these good people, encourage everything that is good. How many innocent people suffer? They are doing their best to do good, and innocently they are accused, and they suffer a lot of psychological pressures, physical pressures, just because of our own kind of jealousies and our own kind of selfishness. Instead of looking at the good of everyone, we look only at our own good as such. Imagine Judas sold Jesus by only 30 silver pieces, something of very low value. He sold God, who is great, who is the creator of everything, who is the owner of everything, with just very little value. How often do we sell the others who are of a high value? Every human person is of a high value, but often it may happen that we treat others like a property or like just anything that I can use for my own advantage. Let us really reflect and see for the times that we treated others as objects, as things, and yet everything and everyone belongs to God and belongs to others. Let us ask for forgiveness for all those kind of sins where we treated others not as human beings with their dignity, but as things, as property, for our own advantage, not for the good of everyone. Judas was only looking at himself. He was not looking at the good of all. Let us remember, it's not only about looking at my comfort. So I am happy, I have everything, I don't mind how others live. No. When we are happy and we have whatever we have, we are invited to look at my brother, my sister, to make that person also happy, to let him also enjoy what I'm enjoying, as long as it is good, to enjoy the blessing, to share the blessings. Dear friends, we learn a lot from this episode. It is very sad and very unrewarding when people choose property or money instead of choosing the value of relationship, human relationship, where we treat each other as brothers and sisters and as friends. It's sad when our focus, our heart, our mind is only on money and property and not on human relationship. It is sad when people sell their good values, their good virtues, their good way of living, their life, just because of the money and because of their property. It's very sad and unfortunate. It is very sad when we keep accumulating and amassing wealth and money and property when others are dying, and we are keeping all the money, however little much it is, in our pockets, in our homes, and yet others are dying, and sometimes even in our own families. It's so sad. It is very sad when siblings, family, relatives, brothers and sisters are fighting because of money, because of property in the family. So sad and unfortunate. Instead of sharing these blessings and passing on to their children and children's children. That's why I love some of the contexts, even in African contexts. We are losing this actually somehow, whereby the land belongs to the family. And it has to be protected. It was given by the grandfathers, and it is passed on to other grandfathers and other children and children and children and children's children. And that's a property whereby whoever will be born will use that land very well to grow in love, to love each other, to relate well. And when he dies, he will pass on to the children and children's children, and nobody will go lacking. But the way people are partitioning lands these days and selling money without even minding about their children, minding about their family, where will the future children really get somewhere to start from? And this is the challenge we have today when people choose money, property over the relationship, over the family. If we are to choose, would we choose money or dignity, human dignity? Would we choose money or human good relationship? Let's remember, the one we choose determines who we are. We either choose God and live forever, or gold and lose our lives, especially when we use that gold in a very useless and disorganized way that keeps us away from God and from others. Remember, your treasure is where your heart is. If your treasure is in the spirit, is in God, then our heart is peaceful. When our treasure is suffocated by material things, then unfortunately we will never be at peace, and we'll just disorganize ourselves and disorganize others, and creating war and tension with everyone we meet, because we are never at peace and we are never satisfied with the little and the much that we have. Let's remember that money and property is good, but too much attachment to money to the point of forgetting God and others and ourselves is dangerous. We are familiar with the expression that the love of money is the root of all evils. Where is my heart? Is my heart on God? Is it on others who are created in the image and likeness of God? Or it is on money and property, suffocated by all that? Looking at the reality of money in a close sense, money or property is not evil. It's actually a blessing, especially if we get it well in a good way. What makes money evil is when we use it and get it in unrighteous, bad, awkward, wicked ways. Rather, money becomes evil because of our bad and unrighteous attitude towards the money and how we get money. If we get it in the wrong way, it becomes evil. If we use it in the wrong way, it becomes evil. Why? Because when people have money, unfortunately, they tend to be greedy instead of being generous and sharing their blessings with others. That's what makes money almost useless if you don't share it to others. Others tend to be selfish instead of being selfless and generous to others, doing good to others, so that goodness can multiply through the money and the property and the gifts that we are offering to others. We have to be careful, dear friends, because the devil is cunning, is wise, is looking around, looking for someone to be like a Judas, to destroy others the way Judas destroyed Jesus. So we have to open our eyes and be careful, because the devil is destroying our faith, our love, our hope, our relationship through money and property attachments. The devil is using money to destroy persons, families, churches, governments, relationships, and even destroying our own selves. Let us pray that we may use the property and the money in a way of building others, building families, communities, churches, building hearts, especially the human hearts, that the money can help us to be more human, more fraternal, more friendly, more close to God, to others, and to ourselves. Let us be there for each other, not like a Judas who only looked at himself. Let us look at the good of each other and help each other to journey together towards heaven, towards God. Blessings from Jerusalem, dear friends.